Hi guys. So I've come to you from my local woods. Oh, geez, it's a bit sunny. It's a lovely day out here actually. Sorry about the background noise because I am outside. I can't stop that. I've come to the smallest little copse, as they're called, which I think is really weird, of woods, and right next to my old school. And I want to talk to you today about autumn, because I noticed that the autumn leaves have started coming along, yet at the moment it's all green. Like, that's just my luck. I love autumn, and there's a lot of reasons why I probably should hate it. And I feel like autumn makes you reflect the past year and just the past in general. And I think it kind of shows the end of everything. And I want to explain that a little bit, and I want to go back on my story a little bit. I'm right by my old school. I've just walked past some girls, and I feel a bit weird walking by I drive past my old school. I live about 5 minutes from there, and in a way I hate seeing the girls in uniform, because I just think, what if there's even just one girl out of that like nearly 2,000 group girls? I did go to an all-girls school that felt like I did, and that terrifies me. I just think what would happen, and I feel bad because, you know, exams are hard now and there's a lot of stress and stuff like that, and I just want to kind of reflect on that and go for a little walk and explain why I love autumn. I think a lot of people in our generation do. I don't know if it's like old generations don't like it as much, but I think it's such a beautiful time of year, and I think mental health does kind of show you the beauty in these things. Like when I was very ill, I used to look out, and I'll point it out later on, but I used to have to go to the medical room and get dragged into school every day. And I used to look out, and I remember always seeing like because it was always around autumn time. This is my whole point. Whenever I got ill, it was around autumn time. I think it was just coincidence. I don't know if that's other factors brought into it, but it was always around then. So I always remember like watching the leaves fall off the trees and thinking it's such a beautiful colour, but I couldn't appreciate them because I was so unwell. And I just really wanted to explain that. And I think ever since then, whenever I was better, autumn always represented the sort of recovery for me, because it always was around autumn that I got unwell, really unwell. Like I was unwell around other times of the year, but autumn was when I was like at my worst. I just want to mention, this is where all the smokers come to. That's why I've avoided lunchtimes, because I don't want anyone to be like, why the hell are you filming around an all-girls school? I think it's understandable. I'm not filming them. But I think somewhere like in here was when I had my first fag. I don't smoke, and I've probably had under at least 15, probably even 10, less than that. But I'm one of those that I believe you should try it. Anyway, I had my first fag here. I know, slapped me on the wrist. It's about 15. I remember thinking I was really old at that age to have that. And one of my mates, so if you're watching, thanks. If anyone knows me, they know that if I do take a puff, I'm awful. I don't smoke, and don't smoke, kids. And I don't think it's all the girls come here to smoke, but no one really smokes anymore. Even when I went to school, I left 5 years ago, no one smoked. It wasn't like the cool thing. Everyone was like, yeah, you're just trying to be cool. So yeah, little fact for you, if my mum and family are watching, what do you expect? You know, I was a teenager. It made me feel like a teenager. When I grew up, I felt like, and even now, I don't think I'll ever recover from the fact that I don't feel like I had my full teenage experience. Because I was so unwell, I had a lot of bad times, and I'm sure there's a lot of other teenagers that feel the same way. I'm sure you might feel the same way. But kind of what I was thinking with autumn is, there's a brilliant song by The Script called The End Where I Begin. Listen to it. I listened to it when I was younger, and I'm really listening to it now, and it's brilliant. And there's a line in it that says, some of your first scars won't ever fade. And I feel like that's true. Like sometimes the first time we get properly hurt, we feel so hurt. When you grow older, sometimes, because you know what that's like, you can, sort of protect yourself a little bit more. So this, I think that line really throws that sometimes your first scars will really still stick with you. You can learn from them and they become scars, but they'll still be scars, they'll still be there, and you've learned from them, but they can still sort of hurt. Oh, I also forgot. These are the woods I nearly broke my nose in. I've never broken a bone, thank God, but I fell over when I was 6 years old and I smacked my face in. I was like, there. Actually, I don't know how I didn't break my nose during that, so well done, Lily, you've done all right. I always remember thinking that tree was really pretty. We're just approaching my old school now. Hello, you see it up there? I've got it in long distance. So you have an old building. I'm going to kind of show it from far because it's quite isn't it? Got an old building like here, and that's where all, well, it might have changed now, but that's where all the offices and everything were. And actually originally that used to be like the medical room as well, so I remember going there quite a lot when I was first in school. First ever sort of major panic attack I remember was at school. I was in a history class with a teacher called Mr. Moth, lovely guy. I'm going to sit here, sit down here by this thing. You can kind of see it up there. Yeah, so I had this thing, the anxiety symptoms came along, but when I must have been about 12 at that point, I didn't know what anxiety was, so I was so scared. I didn't know what anxiety was for about 3 years after that, or maybe like 2 or 3 years. Yeah, probably roughly around that much. And that was horrifying, you know. It was really scary, and I went through every day having anxiety. And so yeah, and also if you can see it behind me, like up here in the old building, was where I first had counselling. I saw about, I want to say 3 counsellors, because one had to leave for maternity leave, so like 2 rounds of counselling, but I had to go there. It was a bit awkward going in school because everyone knows where you're going, but I find it weird when I had people in my class and they were like, I didn't realise you had problems. Well, what did you think when I didn't, like, did you not notice that I didn't come into class for like 3 months straight for registration? And I only live like a couple of minute walk from here. I don't think I could go back in. I think I would. I've always wanted to go back in and do like a speech and talk to students about my experience there, but I don't know. It has really nice woods in there and stuff. It's a nice looking school, but it was a lot of dark times there. I'm sorry that I had to have a bit of a cut frame. I just felt really uncomfortable there, and I don't know why. A bit out in the open. I was saying about the story that when I was late, and I was later on in year 11, and my teacher, I came in and my teacher was like, well, what was the problem? Why are you late? Really angrily. Everyone else was like staring directly at me, and I said, I'm happy to turn around and say to you outside when it's a little bit more private, really nicely. And she was like, well, you're making a massive deal out of it. Had a go at me, saying you're making a massive deal out of it. You could simply just say. And I just went really quiet, sat down, and probably cried to myself later about it. Probably had to go to Lou after that. You know, wasn't well. I can't remember if this was the time. I think that was after my eating disorder, so I was still very like weak and stuff like that. She knew I had problems in the past, so she could have at least realised that. But looking back, and what really happened, so that was what happened, and then about 3 or 4 weeks, well maybe like 2 weeks later, even a week maybe, I got started dragging into school. And my mum and a few other people made a massive appointment. So it was my mentor, my mum, the person that helped me out at reception, and my form tutor. And I didn't really say much. I think I did cry. And there was a point where I had to leave because they wanted to talk about other stuff. And my form tutor, I think, did actually cry in the end because she didn't realise what was going on. And she felt awful because she was treating me a bit like crap. And what was happening was I was late because I was being sick from my anxiety. And I was having panic attacks. And I didn't want to go into school. And I was unwell. And I was late because of that. But what I really wish I did that day was... Go away, Mr. Wasp. I wish I turned around when she said, well, you're making a massive deal out of it, and go, fine. You want me to tell everyone? You want me to tell everyone what's going on? Well, I'm late because I've been violently sick. But being sick, I've not been properly sick. I can't be properly sick because I don't eat anymore. And I don't eat because I get so anxious that I can't eat and it makes me feel sick. Therefore, I go into a massive cycle, and every day I'm ill because I don't want to come into school. I have panic attacks. I cry myself to sleep. I can't sleep, and no one's willing to help me, and that's it. And there are times where I wish I just walked out of that school, and I didn't because I was scared, and I regret that. If you're in school, don't bunk, but there were times where I wish I just did walk out. And the most upsetting thing I think about my school at the moment is I had like 300 girls in my year. I don't talk to anyone from that school anymore. I mean, that's pretty depressing. It's true, but that's true. It's probably my fault. I think it's been good to talk about sort of the experience I had there in Little. I mean, there was lots of other little stories I could tell, good and bad. But the ones that get to me. Because I think you can let it go then. And I look at myself and I'm a different person. And I always think if I could ever go back and talk to my younger self, I'd just give her a hug and be like, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Other reasons I love Halloween. Well, that is one of the reasons. I love autumn is Halloween. I met my partner at a Halloween party nearly 4 years ago now. I love fireworks. That's at the same time as me and my partner's anniversary. We're not going to be together this year on our anniversary because we're long distance. You probably know that. There will be a video up. This will probably be my next mental health video. Will be me talking about long distance relationships, because this will be our 3rd year of doing it. I think a big thing is I'm not angry anymore. I'm also looking forward to the Christmas drinks from Costa, but I'll give you a little secret. If they still have their sauces in, they will still make it for you. So Black Forest hot chocolate, yeah, they still have it. I think it's called like blackberry, and it's like something really random in fruits. They're like sauces are. So you can ask for that, and it's basically the Black Forest hot chocolate. I really want one now. I want to end this video here, and I know I sort of talked about quite deep topics, and that was only because I'm near my old school and in a part of the world where I grew up. I mean, my nanny used to live near here. I have a lot of childhood memories. I once got bitten by a rabbit on my foot, which is a lie. I probably stubbed my toe, and I kept that lie up for a good nearly 10 years. I kept that lie up. And I just wanted to kind of say why I love the sort of renewal part of autumn and this time of year. and just kind of talk a bit about what it was like for me back in the day. I'm not angry about that anymore. I'm not upset about it. I still am recovering from those sort of things, but I'm a lot better now, and I'm an adult now, and it's okay. It's just, what upsets me is that there could be girls or boys that are going through the same experience as I did, and that's what breaks my heart. And that's why I do these. I want to help people. And I know a lot of people say to me like, well, why do you put yourself out there? You're just putting yourself up for harm and stuff like that, and you're never going to make a change if you just sit back. And I want to make a change, and that's my goal here. And if you like this video, thumbs it up and let me know, and I can maybe make some more of videos like this where we're out and about. And tell me what you love about autumn, and pop a comment down below. I'd love to see. I hope you guys are having a brilliant week. I am doing Inktober at the moment, and so that will be all down in Linky Blue. I'm doing it on my Facebook and my Instagram, so check that out. I'm really having good fun. I'm doing My Hero Academia as sort of like a theme, but it's not going to be in every drawing. It's just when I can't think of something, I'm going to use that. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, please subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys, and I'll see you next Thursday. Ow.